So we melted this. You can see some fried wires right there. I think these are too far gone. These things are melted. Like this one is exposed. So I'm pretty sure it's a wiring that is not working too well. So if you saw the other video that I had posted a while ago about the issues that my car's having, one of the issues was the sensors, the blind spot sensors on the side. These sensors don't work, and the reason for that is because I did some exhaust modifications and I left the pipe just straight at the bumper, and it melted some stuff inside of here. So I had gotten video of that before, but I don't know what I did with it. So I'm gonna take off the bumper right now and show you the damage. And you can see right here, the mounts and the bumper itself got warped over there too on this side. So I was thinking that I'm gonna need a whole new bumper, and I might just do the SRT bumper, but I don't know yet. Some of the parts that got fried for sure were these sensors. These are the blind spot sensors. This is a whole harness with the sensors off of another 300, and I also got the pigtail just in case, because I remember some of this being melted. These are just some little vents that go on the inside right there that I know are melted. And these sensors run about 300 a piece new. I'm not sure, this is like $100 right here, but I was able to get a deal. I went to the junkyard and they gave me all this plus the Bluetooth module, the one that goes in there for the calls and the music. I got all this for 26 bucks. So I'm gonna start ripping this apart and show you guys how it looks under there. I have an audience, okay. Okay, so those are off. Now we get the 10 millimeter and you remove this one.
What's your name? Ezekiel. Ezekiel.
And then this one and this one, and then the 10 under here. Okay, so now that we got those off, the 10 millimeter, all that, I'm gonna start pulling on it, see if it comes off. So it looks like you don't need to take this off, but it does have some clips holding it in right here. So you're gonna have to pull pretty hard. Okay, so bumper came off. This actually holds it on pretty strongly. It has these clips right here, like this one, that one, and they hang on right here. And then looking at the inside of the bumper, this is not too bad, but it got melted right here because the exhaust pipe was cut off over here. I didn't have this to go through this, so we melted this. And then the reason why I think I'm gonna need a new bumper is that the clips that hold the parking sensors melted too. Well, at least this one and the one over there, that last one. These look okay. You can see some fried wires right there. And then I got those two new sensors, but it looks like I might need the pigtails for those as well. This mount seems like it's okay. It's not too bad. This is where the 10 millimeter goes into. So it looks like I'm gonna have to go back to the junkyard and cut this off over here so I can have these new wires. I'll have to look in here. Hopefully past this grommet, the wires are good. Let me go check the other side. This side doesn't look as bad as the other side. Looks like the wires are okay. But I'm gonna have to just expose all this, and these are, I think these are too far gone, so I might need to go back, cut this off, because the sensors themselves don't look like they're messed up, but I'll have to see. It looks like this side didn't do as bad as the other side. So yeah, this is where the exhaust was cut off, so all the heat was coming out through here. And then the bumper itself, like this thing broke. This is where the 10mm holds it. These things are melted, and on this side these melted a little bit. So I'm looking at the wires to the inside of this, and it looks like these are just fine. They're actually inside the body, so that shielded it from the heat. So I'm just gonna put this sensor on and the other one on the other side, and if they don't work, then I'm sure it's these wires. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on and turn on the blind spot and see what happens. See those triangles? It means that no, it's not working. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and get that harness and then wire it all up and try again. And then as far as the parking sensors, those I was gonna try to just plug it in and test it out, see what happens. And if not, I was gonna just go get the harness again, and that's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to just wire one thing up and then have to wire everything later. Just want to do it once, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so we're on our way to the junkyard to try to get that harness. It's about an hour away, so I'll check back in later. Oh, I forgot how to drive standard. So we made it back out here to the junkyard, so I'm gonna cut this off right here. That's where the sensor goes mounted. So I'm gonna pop this off, cut it off in the inside, and then do the same with this one. This is the one that I cut off because I thought it was gonna be fine. I pulled this out last time already, so I'm just gonna cut about right here. And I might, if this is good, I might go ahead and take this off too. And then I'll see if maybe I can cut this off somehow. Okay, so I'm gonna get to it and we'll check in again when we have all the parts. All right, so I yanked all that stuff off. The harness, I'll even peel these off. You just put your screwdriver through there, pry it, and this thing rips off. Here's what we got. Okay, so this was another good run. Got all this stuff for 24 bucks. This thing alone on eBay and other parts places, it was 100 and some, or close to $100. And then all the other stuff that I showed you earlier. So we're gonna head home. Maybe next week, get back to it. See if we can wrap up that bumper. Okay, so I'm back in the garage. It's actually a few weeks later. And I'm gonna get ready to start splicing and connecting all these wires. And it seems like it's gonna be pretty easy because they're all different colors. The only thing that I'm not sure about is these grounds. I don't think it matters which ground goes to what, but since I'm not too sure about that, I am going to check which ground goes to what, so I can make sure to connect it in the same spot. So like this harness, you can see that it has 4 grounds right here, and if you follow it, one of them comes out right here, and then if you keep following the harness, and then this sensor, this connector is for the blind spot sensor, and this one has 3. So I'm gonna check for continuity using this thing to see which one of these is which, and then I'm gonna have to do the same to the harness that comes out of there. Okay, so with this multimeter set to the continuity setting, all I have to do is hit or press it against this ground, and then if I try this ground, whenever it detects a closed circuit, it'll change right there. So that one's not it, that one's not it, that one's not it, and then that one. So this is the same wire. So now I know that this ground is this ground. And like I said, I don't know if I have to do that, if every ground has to be the same one again, but I wouldn't want to fry anything, so that's how I'm gonna do it. And then this is how I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna splice them all with their respective matching wire, and I'm gonna be using this heat shrink tubing, like so. On this one, this is the first one, and I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun until it shrinks and it wraps it back up. We'll see what it does. So yeah, it's shrinking. And that's enough. So now I got all those shrink wrapped. I'm gonna tape it up again with electrical tape. So about right here. Okay, so now these are done. This little harness is done. Now I gotta peel all these and then take off the bumper and start figuring out which ground is which, so I can match it up here and then go from there. But first, gotta take off the bumper. So now I got the bumper off again. And since I'm going to be messing with wires and cutting wires and stuff, I'm going to unplug the battery first, and then get to cutting and splicing and doing all the other stuff I got to do. So looks like I gotta cut right here, all this. But before I do that, I have to trace those grounds. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a little bit and do that test I did with the other one. Just touch the wire here and over there and see which ground is which, and just mark it and make sure that I put the same ones that go over here on that harness. Okay, so I peeled 2 of these wires, and then I touched it to this one that I peeled right here and to some of these black ones, and no matter which one I touch, the multimeter is showing continuity. And what I believe is happening is that since this harness is so fried, they must be touching somewhere. All the wires are touching, and that's why nothing is working. So what I'm gonna have to do is that I'm actually gonna have to cut all this wrapping off of it and just trace the wire physically to see which one is which. Okay, so we took off all that protective wrapping from these wires, and yeah, everything was touching at some point because it's all melted. So there's spots where the wires are exposed, and that's why when I try to test them, they were giving like false readings. So now that I have that off, I can actually trace the wire physically. I know that just one of them comes to this harness, which is for the parking sensors. So this one, if I trace it back, it's this black one right here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm actually gonna, since these are all the same, I'm gonna cut these 4 first, or one by one. I'm gonna cut this one and then connect it to the corresponding one of this harness, which is the one marked with the blue tape. This one right here. And then I'll move on to the next one. I'll trace it, and then I'll match it with this one, and then I'll connect it over here. And I'm gonna do those 4 grounds first, and then once those 4 are connected, then I'll just cut everything all together, since everything else is color coded, and then I'll just put the heat shrink and then tape it all up. So I know that the blue one is this one. So just as you see here, this is what I'm gonna do with all of them. So I don't think I have to record it all. So from this one, I'm gonna move to this one over here. I'm gonna trace it and see which one it is, match it up with the other one, cut it, connect it, same with the other 3, the other 2 that are left. And then once that's done, I'm gonna just cut this whole thing and then start splicing depending on the color, matching the colors. Okay, so this is the driver's side. The driver's side is actually very easy compared to the passenger. This one only has 4 wires because all it goes to is the blind spot sensor. So this is going to be pretty easy. Just cut them, connect them, heat heat shrink, and then tape them all up. Put this back in there and good to go. My wife did this side while I was still working on over there, and she put the heat shrink. So now we're gonna tape it all together like this, all of that, and then shove them back in there, and then put this grommet seal thing back on, and this side should be done. Okay, the wiring on the things is almost done, so I'm gonna move to the back of the bumper. So now I'm gonna glue these new ones on. This one didn't melt, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. But this harness is gonna be replaced by that one. So it's the parking sensors and the license plate lights. So right now I'm gonna glue these things on there. This is the glue I'm gonna be using, JB Weld plastic bond. I think regular old super glue would have been fine, but I already got it, so I'm just gonna use it. Finally got all these shrink wrap connected back together, so I'm gonna tape them up and shove it all back in there. And then the sensors, the things that hold the sensors, are still drying. Right now what I'm gonna do is put this back on, connect the blind spot sensors, and I'm gonna go inside and turn on the option through the screen, and we'll see if that fixed it. So that one's plugged in, that one, and that side is plugged in? Okay. So, like I explained last time, if I turn these on, blind spot alert, lights, and chime, and there was something wrong with the system, then those triangles would stay lit up like they did when I tried it last time, but now they're off. Okay, so I got these glued on there. Looks like it said 30 minutes, you can handle it. Looks like they're pretty sturdy. So I'm gonna start with this one over here. I'm gonna clip it on where it's supposed to go. This one goes right here. This thing goes mounted right here. This one goes mounted right here. This one goes here, give it a pinch, and this one goes here. So I guess I'll put it on. This stuff is all on where it's supposed to be. Got that connected. We got the new sensors on there, new harness, new everything. So I'm going to go inside the car and turn it on and put it in reverse real quick. And if that service thing turns off, then it's fixed. All right, so for this you have to turn it on because you have to put it in gear. So we'll do that. I'm gonna put it in reverse. It's working. The lights didn't come on either, and it's all on. So right now I'm gonna try to go for a little test drive, and hopefully it stays that way. Okay, so it seems to be working. I'm gonna put the bumper back on, bolt it all up, and then go for a little test drive and see if it still works. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on the car and see what flashes on that little screen in the middle. We still got that one. Goes to the front sensor radar. And that's it. The blind spot doesn't flash anymore. And then when I put it in gear, both front and back show already. I'm right by the garage, so it's picking up. So those sensors are working now. And then I have the blind spot on and those triangles are off. It's kind of late already, but let me see if I can go out to traffic and see if it detects the cars on the side like it used to. So right here we're about to turn left. I'm gonna see, let that guy go, and then I'll catch up to see if the little triangle turns on. There it is. Let's see what happens if I put my blinker. Oh, he slowed down. Oh yeah, you hear that beep? It's working again. So that fixed it. Yay! So like you saw on the little test drive, all the sensors back here are working, so that's one item off the list of things I have to repair. And I also just wanted to talk a little bit about why I didn't trace the harness all the way back to where it plugs in to somewhere more solid, and instead of just cutting it. And the reason for that is because some of these wires, if not all of them, I think came to this fuse box. And I'd rather not mess with those electronics of the car. Since it was just the sensors that were messing up, I just decided to cut it instead of messing with that fuse box, and it obviously worked. And since this system back here, these sensors are non-essential for the car to drive, that's why I decided to do it like that. But if anyone else is having issues with these sensors, now you know at least how the inside of the bumper looks, where the sensors go and where the harnesses go and stuff. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe if you want, and we'll see you guys next time.